Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the Friday night purge, the after close of business hours emails in the boxes of 18, it would appear, inspectors general. We weren't even sure because the administration kept it completely under wraps, telling them that their service was being terminated because of a shift in priorities. So many problems here and where to start. It's always, I think, more and more an organizing principle is there's always a lie at the center. Always, always, always. The lie here, well, Trump has already offered two. The first is his saying that this is, it always happens. It's completely normal. It's a dead lie. The Biden administration did it once. And they followed the law. There's a law here passed in the wake of Watergate after finding all this corruption and abuse that inspectors general have been fabulously successful at ferreting out. I will go back to that, but nothing normal about it at all. The law says 30 days notice to Congress and a detailed substantive account of why you want to fire them. Otherwise, the president has the right with both those caveats. Biden, when they fired one inspector general, they did exactly that. And there was actually malfeasance on the inspector general's part. The only thing close is way back when, shortly after the act was passed, Reagan fired 12, I think, inspectors general, and there was such a hue and a cry that he had to hire at least half of them back, as he did. I don't think we're going to see a hue and a cry here. So the first thing people have said on the Republican side of things, where you would really need pushback to come from, is, it's just a technical illegality. And that's the other problem. Actually, that's a kind of a way of getting at Trump's second point, also a lie, which is he wants his own people there. And, so just stop and think about that. These are the inspectors general who are tasked with ferreting out fraud, abuse, and misconduct. And they have saved taxpayers some almost $800 billion, a fabulously successful program. But the whole notion of it is that they are independent, including even of the current administration. So I think it's the only thing of its kind. It's kind of a scoop, really, and it might be worth, if you're interested in this topic, listening to. I did a long interview, the only one like it, with the fired inspector general from Interior. And, it sets out the many ways in which this is unprecedented, but there's a little debate going on with Republicans and on TV. Is this illegal? It's plainly illegal. They didn't give 30 days. They didn't even nod in that direction. They didn't give a substantive account. Indeed, they couldn't. Trump said, I don't know who these people are. It's just this Trumpian principle of putting in his people. The important thing, though, is that is the least of it. And what's really going on is Trump's effort to completely smother accountability. That's obviously something that, you don't want to publicize, or he did under cover of night, as it were, for a reason, kind of like a bank robber who disables the security camera before robbing the bank. Trump wants to have his own folks there. We know very well what Trump wants to do, because he did it already. People don't seem to remember, but in 2019, 2020, he fired an inspector general, Mike Atkinson. What did Atkinson do wrong? He reported a call from a whistleblower that he judged to be credible and urgent. And guess what? It was credible, it was urgent, and it was by a person, a whistleblower, who had overheard the phone call with President Zelensky, the one that Trump later dubbed as perfect, and all of which was flagrantly improper and led to the first impeachment. If Trump had his way, that none of that would have ever seen the light of day. Indeed, that the inspector general was so brazen as to do his job was a reason for him to be sacked. look, the really big problem, totally illegal, but Trump's calculations are what can I get away with, not what the law is. And he's going to get away with this one way or another, because even if they sue and they're reinstated, which would, I think, be a bit of a stretch because he does have the right to fire them, they would have a right to stay there for 30 days if he gave proper notice to Congress and came up with reasons that, of course, he wouldn't do, but some kind of bogus reason. But they would just go back to an agency where, in a big office, these are really big operations with hundreds and hundreds of investigators, and they play a really important role within the individual agencies to ferret out fraud, abuse, and misconduct. But they would go back and, to their same desk with a locked door. It's a certainty that they'll be a stranger in a strange land, as I put it in I have a Substack about this out today that I think is worth a read, Talking Feds Substack. Just look it up. And it also includes the interview with the fired inspector general. But this is all by way of saying that the illegality is secondary, and the fact that it's going to be successful. And what really matters is it's so clear that A, he would anyway put in lackeys, and B, the message couldn't be stronger that anyone who has anything critical to say about any part of the Trump administration need not apply. So, and if they are in there and they have findings, look at Atkinson, who, did his job by passing on a credible whistleblower call. If they have findings that in any way reflect poorly on the Trump administration, and they make them, their job is on the line. That is precisely the opposite of how inspectors general are meant to work. Their neutrality, their credibility is king. And they have that because they're considered within their agency, where they have a kind of a funny role. They're the people there who, could issue a bad report on people within the department. Happens all the time. I'm put in mind of the criticism leveled by Inspector General at DOJ Glenn Fine toward the FBI, headed by Bob Mueller, and Mueller just stood up there with Fine in Congress and said, yes, Mr. Fine is right. We are doing these remediations to make it better. That's, of course, what you expect and want out of professionals there. But what Trump expects and wants is zero criticism, and worse than that, zero revelation of anything that went wrong. So that's what's really at stake here. The ability, first, of course, it's bad for taxpayers, $800 billion gone, trouble in the agency. But the big thing is no accountability within the agency, a completely disempowered IG that plays, according to the Trump one-way ratchet, heads I win, tails you lose. And they just, know in advance that there's no criticism to level. And it's not simply criticism. It's facts. It's information. If he had his way, as he's going to with these folks, the facts that led to the first impeachment, which were A, grievous, but B, of deep public concern, would never have come out. And that is, in fact, what he wants to happen. I'll just make a final point and say, the response of the Republicans here, it's really contemptible. There's a couple kind of weak, Grassley, who styles himself the patron saint godfather of the inspectors general, said, well, maybe there's something here we should look into. That, that's all. And then Lindsey Graham, others have basically said, yeah, he should be able to put in who he wants. Completely misunderstanding, maybe willfully, maybe not. I mean, this is one of those things that, like, if you know how it works from the inside, that's why I do my Substack, for instance. If you know the way it works on the inside, you're going to be really alarmed here. But many people don't. They just see this as the same as, you put in your guy like a U.S. attorney. It's dead wrong. It's exactly what you don't put in. Our people, which is the way they put it, is supposed to be plainly disqualifying for an inspector general. Now it's the first qualification, and we're the losers, the people, the ability to know about fraud and mismanagement and abuse, even to have the information on it, that's what really has taken the body blow here. Along with a few other things that are happening, this is, what shoot up every flare you have. We have serious distress to the democracy, and we got to fight. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.